Welcome back to the AoT Chronicles, a podcast from the Podcast Chronicles. I'm your boy, Ronny.
Yo, it's your boy, Chad.
What's up, Chad? Thanks for being back on the podcast. I say thanks for being back. It's your podcast, too, so you had to be back. Anyway, today we are here to talk about Attack on Titan, Season 1, Episode 2, That Day, The Fall of Shiganshina. Part 2.
And I want to say, too, thanks for coming back and listening again. We know we're probably talking to about, what do you say, at least 3,000 people right now?
We got my mom and then 2,999 other people, and I'm just so glad to have them back.
And I think I've got my little 9-year-old cousin. I think he's watching as well.
My mom,
well, not watching, but listening. You know what I mean.
My mom, your cousin, and then 2,998 other people.
Okay.
But yeah, let's just go ahead and get straight into the episode. What'd you think of this one?
Well, I thought it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Good take. Yeah, I think this is a great setup episode. I'm not saying that it's only a setup because obviously we still got Titans running around, but I feel like a lot of things are being put into place to help the series along in the future. And like I said, to get right into it, we start off with just a small little clip of just getting a history on the Titans. We're talking about, once again, how they appeared over a century ago, and how it straight up almost led to human extinction. We get a little brief moment about them going back over the walls. Once again, we got Maria, Rose, Cena, and from there we got go to theme song, and we're right back into the action. Opening credits, right back into the action. We got a
which by the way, though, I just want to touch note on that. You talking about almost bringing humans to extinction and how that was a century ago and stuff. You would think people like Hannes and the drunk bastards of the military police, you would think they would be a little more prepared, knowing how dangerous these Titans are.
Yeah. So are you saying they're not prepared?
Well, I'm not saying they're the most prepared, but...
Right. Yeah. I understand. Which, and to that credit, we got a preacher preaching until a Titan picks him up, and let's just say this preacher gets preached, dude. I mean, this guy's done for. We got Titans all over the place. A lady runs into the alley, which, let's just say this right now, first rule of the podcast and in the Titan Apocalypse, don't run into an alley. That's just a bad move, right?
Bad move. And first off, if you're going to be praising the walls and you just saw what happened to the walls, you might want to stop praising the walls.
Just take a second, collect your thoughts. Let's think this one through and regroup and go get them. We got Hannes still dragging the kids. Eren starts beating him up. And by beating him up, I mean just barely touching this guy. He's not phased at all.
A little hissy fit, you know.
He's so not phased that he just straight up tells Eren, you're too weak to fight the Titans, but as a little bit of a consolation prize, he goes, I lack the courage, and he apologizes to him.
Which he did, and that's kind of tough to say that to a little kid, telling him he lacks the strength, which obviously he does, but as stubborn as Eren is, he's not going to like hearing that.
Yeah, and we get a small, quick part. I'm just going to go ahead and toot my own horn here. If you're not a professional TV watcher / podcast owner, you might not catch this. But Mikasa has a quick little flashback of dead bodies. I don't recognize these dead bodies, and she just mutters, "It's happened again."
Yes.
Well, okay. We won't stay on that too long. It's just a quick little thing. I felt like I needed to mention it. We got people. They're starting to load boats. Okay. On another side of the wall, and I feel like it's important to explain this because my first time through, this did confuse me. We have the 3 main walls, but on top of that, we've got they're almost like alcoves outside of the walls, which is where Shiganshina is, where Eren is. And these are kind of made, to my understanding, to direct Titans into a certain spot, so they don't go straight to the walls. Right. They're attracted to people that go to these concentrated locations. So that's why you're like, wait, they just broke through a wall. Now there's another wall right there, and they're loading on boats right next to it. That doesn't make sense. They're officially now in Walmaria. The Titans are in Shiganshina. Armin, he sees Eren. He starts to yell out to him. But he's stopped by his grandfather. Good play, Grandpa. I don't think Eren was in the mood to be a little chatty right now.
And Armin doesn't know what happened, so he's just happy to see his buddy alive. But Eren looks like he just saw his mom die.
Yeah.
Which he did just see his mom die.
Yeah. And that's how you look when you see your mom die. We got Hannes and the boys, the other garrison members. They're trying to defend the wall while people are getting on boats. We got other people, just boats are full. They don't care. They're trying to jump on these things.
Understandable.
Yeah, everyone's in a panic. I don't know why they're panicking. Hannes and the boys, they brought out the big guns. They're called cannons, and they don't work.
And these Titans were smiling, mind you, so they seem happy.
These cannons are useless. I mean, but you gotta appreciate them trying. The Titans are closing in. We're closing the gates. Hannes is he's trying to keep these things open because there's still people trying to filter through. But other members of the garrison, like Hannes' buddies, I assume from the last episode, are like, nah, close the gates. We're getting in here.
Yeah.
We're through. We're not beating these guys.
And going back to that cannon situation, it's like when you hand your little 4-year-old cousin who's begging to play Xbox with you, when you hand him your controller to play a little bit of Call of Duty, that's what their aim looks like.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a bad play by you. You obviously you give them a controller that's not even hooked up, which is these cannons might as well not be shooting anything. But we're on the same page there for sure. So like I was saying, Hannes is trying to keep the gate open. No one else really seems to be up for that, but in kind of a messed up way, he gets his wish because let me just tell you, we got an armored Titan who's been practicing his 40-yard dash, and he busts right through this wall that's been standing for 100 years.
I mean, this guy is just a straight-up Keanu Neal killer.
He's an absolute unit. I mean, they're shooting cannons at him. They're doing whatever else they got to try and do to stop him. He just busts through this thing. Calling him an armored Titan is, I guess, kind of a spoiler, which I didn't mention that at the beginning of the podcast. For some reason, if you just got on the hype train late for this podcast and you started at episode 2, we're not spoiling anything. You're chill. We're only talking about episode 2 and anything that's happened before that. And
that's what these people end up calling him. Yeah. We're just going to say what they call him.
Right. It's not a spoiler to call him the Armored Titan. So we didn't really talk about this last episode because it was just kind of some information we got. They do these mid-credit slides or whatever you could say. It's obviously where commercials usually go. But they're really cool. I would assume most people do this, but if you're not, definitely pause, check them out. We'll always touch on them here in this podcast because there's some good little nuggets. Like, for example, this one is a little different. It's kind of confusing. Usually, I feel like they're a little bit better than this. It just shows a diagram of the walls and says what humanity has left. Everything beyond Wall Maria remains a mystery. So we're basically saying just like everything outside, people like Eren, they've got no clue what's on the other side of those walls.
Right. And make sure, as somebody that's seen the whole series up until where it's left off at this point, you want to make sure you read these cards.
Yeah.
It's not only helpful information, but it's also stuff that you kind of forget about.
Yeah. And for me right now, still only seen through season 1, haven't started season 2 yet. These are always cool to read and learn some more about. It's just as like good world building for the show. But anyway, we go to the second slide, the back half of this little intermission, and it tells us elevation increases as one approaches the center of human territory. So I guess that just means like as you walk towards the center of this huge circle they've got, the ground just gets higher, like it's almost built on a hill or a mountain, and that the human territory is replete with water, minerals, natural gas, and other such resources.
Right.
So we come back from that, and basically within hours of the wall being broken, word gets around to all the cities south of Wall Rose now about what's happened. So we go to a meeting with a couple guys, and Chad, you can tell these guys are important because they're in a dark room. They're all men, so they're making some big decisions.
And one of them has a mustache, mind you. So
that's a great point. This is why you're here, to pick up those little mistakes I miss. But yeah, they're just talking. They can't believe that they broke through that initial wall. And, they were getting news that 500 people are arriving on the boat, and they're just trying to keep a positive attitude, just saying, like, there's no way they're also breaking into Walmaria.
And after it cuts to them, we go back to the citizens that are escaping, and they've got a little bit different attitude.
Yeah, they got a little bit of a different attitude, but I also feel like it's very important that they're saying there's no way they're breaking into Walmaria. And it's right around this time that my homeboy busts in, and he goes, "Hey guys, just quick update. They have officially broken through Walmaria."
But there's no way that they're gonna get through it.
Yeah, but how could they possibly get through Walrose? We are good to go. These guys are in what's known as the Tross District. We'll learn more about that later, I'm sure. Just want to mention it as kind of let you know where they're at. And so, like you said, we go back to these poor people on the boats, and they are, you could say they're concerned. Hannes seems to mention this is the end. Eren is flashing back to his parents. His mother he just watched die a couple hours ago, and he's kind of regretting how stubborn he was, how much of a little asshole he was.
Right.
Like you do. And Chad, okay, I know I said no spoilers. Spoiler alert, this is not the last time Eren vows to kill all the Titans.
Really?
Yeah, he says, he's driving all these guys out. It's the first time, but spoiler alert, like I said, not the last time.
Now, let me ask you this. Is he crying when he's saying this?
There's tears.
Really?
Yeah, we got a little waterworks.
An anime protagonist crying? What?
I know.
And this guy's acting like he saw his mom.
I know. It's like, hey, dust off the shoulder there, buddy, and just ride the boat and get to where the destination is. Chill out for a second. My God. We find out. Great podcasting, Ronnie.
We find.
Yeah, we find out that within the next year, the central government decides to bring everyone inside Walrose. But, Jazz, in this process, we have an estimated 10,000 people eaten.
Estimated, right? So that's probably, it might even be a little on the lower side.
It could potentially be 9,637.
Yes.
You're right. It's gross of them to just assume things like that.
It's disgusting.
I mean, God, these news channels, they're always just trying to be so dramatic. It was definitely under 10,000, but obviously probably north side of 9,000.
But, too, I wanted to mention this, too. Eren had another, I'm pretty sure it's right before that event, right? Eren had another little dream or something that he mentioned.
So it was actually right after this. Yeah, we get that information. And this is where, hold on to your minds, bros, because it's getting a little crazy. We get a 5-second clip of Dr. Yeager, Eren's dad, on a horse and a carriage. Best way to travel. This is the first time we've seen, other than boats, how we get around here. It's with a horse and buggy. Great way. Wish we still used it. He's thinking of his family and just hoping they're okay. We don't know where he is. And I'm not sure I mentioned it last episode, which is totally my fault. It seems like it's super important to point out the fact that he does indeed rock a ponytail.
Yes, he does. And not only does he rock it, but he rocks it well.
Yeah, he looks good. I'm a little disappointed Eren isn't going for the same look. You got to respect a man who confidently rocks a ponytail. Dr. Yeager's doing that.
Especially as a doctor.
Yeah, I'm on board for sure. Sorry for not mentioning that earlier. I'm sure we've lost many viewers because they got to the end of episode 1. They say, wow, these guys didn't even mention that he rocks ponytail. I'm going to go find another podcast. And I don't blame them for that at all. But this isn't even this isn't the big news, is it, Chad?
No, this is not.
We go completely banana sandwich here. We're warped into a crazy scene where Eren is losing his mind, and he's losing his mind possibly because his dad is also losing his mind.
Possibly. We don't know. We don't really know.
His dad, all we can tell is his dad's trying to inject Eren with something while, Eren's basically just like fighting for his life. He's screaming at him saying, Mom's death has made you go crazy. And his dad's just, screaming, don't forget the key. You must reach it until you learn the truth someday.
So we're assuming from that context that this key is important.
Yeah.
Maybe. We
That's
don't know.
exactly right. But, hey, what? What was all that? We don't know, and neither really does Eren. He awakes. He's thinking maybe it was just a dream, but...
And he keeps saying, too, he said in the last episode, it feels like a really long dream.
Yeah. And, Mikasa's not having any of his shit. She's just, like, saying... Hey, it was a dream. Get up. Why do you always do this? Why am I always, here to wipe your tears away, dude?
Eren, stop crying. Get up. Let me protect you. That's what Mikasa's saying.
Yeah, but Chaz, if it was a dream, can I kindly ask you to explain to me why the hell the key is around Eren's neck?
Yes. I'll explain that. Because it wasn't a fucking dream. Is my assumption there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
But I could be wrong.
Who knows? I certainly don't. So they got to go get some food with all the boat refugees. And they run into our guy Armin, who has bread because his grandfather is a dirty, stinking liar.
Yes.
My headcanon is Armin's old fart of a grandpa was waiting in line. There were 7 children behind him, and he was just like, hey, these are my kids. Can I get some extra bread? And the guy's like, well, we're not really supposed to give out bread unless the person's in line. And he's like, dude, just give me the bread. These are my kids. And he goes, well, okay, but if you have a problem, I'm going to have to talk to my manager. And
then he pulled a Karen on him.
He just walks away, and these kids are like, can I have a bit of bread? And he's like, sorry, but your grandpa just took it. You can go meet up with him. And then they turn around, and his grandfather's just gone. And he's just like, hey, Armin, give this to some of your buddies. And Armin's just like, okay, grandpa. There was already a food shortage, and now we got guys like Armin's grandpa who are just stealing food. And
by the way, how do you let an old man in a time like this steal that much food?
He's a master con man, this Armin's grandpa.
I had a feeling he pulled the whole amnesia type.
Oh, yeah. I don't trust this guy at all.
No.
Put a pin in him, and let's keep an eye on him in the future. There's already a food shortage, so now the guys who already lived inside the wall, they're pissed because they're losing food to these stupid poor people. These guys...
Especially poor old men, mind you.
I don't know what you would call it, but these guys are racist to outer wall people, and I'm not here for it.
No.
Year 845 is no place for wallism, as I like to call it.
Guys, it's 845.
Yeah.
Get a hold of yourself.
Seriously. Hey, all men were created equal. Didn't your wall gods tell you that? Jeez, guys. Our boy Eren, what does he do? He goes for a shin kick. Not a great play. Chaz, what do you do in this instance?
Are you saying, what do I do if I'm getting kicked in the shin?
No, let's say, okay, put yourself in Eren's shoes. You're a little kid. You're going against this guy. He's a soldier. And, you want to show him that you mean business. How are you doing? You going with a shin kick?
I think I'm going with a judo chop straight to the nuts, if I'm being honest.
Right. It seems like the best play here because the shin kick, believe it or not, it's ineffective. Eren gets beat down. His pride is seriously hurt.
Which, he kind of deserves it.
Yeah, let's be honest, someone needed to hit this guy.
Yeah.
He's on the verge of tears again, which, I would count, but who even has a counter that goes up this high?
I think we're at 37. It's episode 2, 37, 38?
I'm at 39,
okay.
but, Eren's pride, it's seriously hurt. he tells, his gang, I'm going back to Wall Maria and count it. I won't count how many times he cries. I will count this for the people. This is the second time now Eren's going to destroy all these Titans.
Whoa, no way. Eren says this.
Yeah. You might not pick up on it, but he does claim that he will destroy these guys.
Listen, guys, you really need to focus and pay attention to these moments.
If you're using this as a summary, you're trying to catch up for Season 4, go into it knowing Eren's going to kill these Titans.
He's going to wipe them all out.
And so at this point, Armin starts, combating Eren with this. Eren is, saying, we got to get out of these walls. Armin is saying, let's just stay inside the walls. I mean, we don't want to end up like my parents.
So Armin has completely changed his mind after the break-in of the walls.
Which, to be fair to my guy Armin, seeing the Colossal Titan might do that to a person.
Not the prettiest looking guy, I'll say that.
Yeah, it might give you some pause of being like, hey man, maybe we should just set up camp here for a little while.
Maybe we should just chill with my boy Hannes, drink a little booze.
Let's regroup, give it another 100 years, then we'll see about maybe getting outside these walls.
We lasted 100 years in peace.
Yeah.
We can last another 100 somehow.
But yeah, like I was saying, Armin reveals, to us for the first time that his mom and dad presumably died from some Titans while they were outside the walls. Don't know what all that's about, but pretty interesting.
It's a good little fun fact.
Yeah. So how do we shut up Eren? Well, Mikasa just drills him across the face. You might think he's dead or knocked out. I guess he's neither because she starts talking to him, but he does not move for a good 15 seconds, it feels like. He's just out cold. She grabs a little loaf of bread, just shoves it down this guy's throat and says, listen, you're going to survive. I'm going to make sure you survive because that's what your mom wanted me to do.
And Mikasa is the man in this situation, just shoving things down Eren's throat. A little awkward.
Oh, my God. Oh, my. Okay, wow.
Just absolutely abusing him.
Good Lord. Okay. So we're on episode 2. I gotta get back on track here. The next few days, they got the refugees. The shortage is unavoidable. We got a year that passes. The government sends out some of these refugees. They're on a mission to retake Wall Maria. It's more like a suicide mission.
Yeah, it's not really a mission. It's more just like a just fun time dying, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The best thing that comes out of this situation is they do send Armin's filthy thief of a grandfather. I mean, let's be honest. It was a good thing this guy went. He was just not good for the community.
No, he was not. I just imagine him saying, I don't even know where I'm at right now.
Yeah, this guy's been a con man for the last 63 years. He's just been getting into all kinds of trouble. He's stealing from the community. Let's get him out of here. The bad news is we sent out 250,000 people. Not even 200 people survive. So, I say it like that. You might be thinking, Chaz, wow, that's not great. Let me make it clear. It's not that bad of odds. You had a 0.008% chance of coming back.
Wow. That's not that bad if you really think about it.
You really think about it, not that bad. It's not that crazy. We do get a little world building here. 250,000, that was 20% of the population. Chad, I know you're not that great with math. That means initially we had around
750.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're close. It was 1,250,000 people inside the walls.
Okay. How many died? What percentage?
Yeah, so we got 250,000 people went outside the walls. We had less than 200 come back. So we had them in the first half. Second half, we got a little sloppy on D, and defense wins championships. So therefore, we lost a lot of good people. Eren tells Armin and Mikasa that he plans on joining the cadets next year. And because of that, they're like, well, we can't leave this little asshole to himself, so I guess that's what we're going to do as well. And he's just like, wait, you guys don't have to do that. This is my thing. You guys do your thing. And they're like, no.
I'm going to wipe them all out, guys.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I've mentioned, but I plan on killing all of them, and I just feel like this is the next logical step for me to take to achieve that goal. And so, with that being said, we do just that. We fast forward to the 104th Cadet Corps class entrance ceremony, where we meet.
Wow. 104. That is a lot, by the way. Let's just mention that.
That's a lot. But also, Chaz, shut up, because we've just met the best character in the show, Commander Keith Sades.
Oh, and let me just talk about this guy right here.
Okay, everyone buckle up. We got a 10-minute segment on Commander Keith Sades right here. Let's just start off by saying this. This guy goes out of his way to specifically say he does not welcome these guys warmly.
No, he does not. And it might have something to do with the fact, I don't know if you've picked up on this, Ronnie, but seems like this guy might not have slept.
This guy has not slept in the last 2 years.
I was going to say a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But
the last night he slept was the night before the Colossal Titan showed up, and he's just been honing his skills ever since. It might have even been before. He might have had some trouble at home. It's been before the Colossal Titan even showed up. He was,
He almost looks like he's on his way to becoming a Titan.
This guy's sex life went down the drain. You can tell by the his eyes that are caving into the base of his skull.
I think I figured it out, dude. I think you just don't have to sleep for a really long time and you become a Titan. I think that's what it is, Ronnie.
Well, a Titan, or let's be honest, this guy might be a vampire. You heard it here first. It's a little theory I'm throwing out. Keep an eye on Commander Keith Sades. This guy is a vampire. So we've got two mythical creatures. We got the Titans and we got vampires. Write that down. Keep it in your head, because
which he's in the sunlight right now, it looks like, in this part of the episode. But
that's an excellent point, Chaz. But at the same time, vampires have evolved in the year 846.
That's true.
Or I guess this might be 847 because we had to wait a year for the Cadet Corps. But yeah, I just love so much. All this guy had to do would just be like, hey guys, welcome to the class. It's going to be pretty tough, but we'll get through it as a team. No, he goes out, he goes, I'm not going to welcome you warmly. I'm not going to necessarily welcome you coldly either. So I'm wondering what kind of temperature we're dealing with. And if that wasn't enough, he goes on to just say, you guys are less than livestock, and you're just Titan meals right now. He goes on to say he would rather be going to war with cows and chickens than these scrubs before him.
Which I think is just an awesome welcoming. Especially if I was Eren, Armin, and Mikasa, who just lived through that just absolute tragedy. I would love to just hear a sleepy vampire say that to me.
You hear that and you just go, wow, this is a guy I can fight for. He goes, listen, you guys, thanks for coming out. I would rather be going on the back of a cow than you guys. And you go, wow, I would run through a wall for this man.
This guy is a leader. This is what we call a leader.
And basically, to end this baby off, we got some of Eren's inner monologue where, for a third time, he lets you know he is driving these Titans out of these walls.
So that's three times in 2 episodes, okay?
Yeah.
I think we're going to get up to about 175 by at least the 6th episode. So
don't spoil anything, all right?
Okay.
Don't spoil anything.
It's a spoiler-free podcast. I apologize.
So that's the end of the episode. The gang's here. They're getting ready to start training.
We got some new faces, people we haven't seen.
Yeah, we get some people meet this cast of characters next time. But like I was saying before, I felt like this was a good episode. Setting things up. We get a feel for, how much this wall break-in has cost, this whole civilization. And now we got to fight them back.
And then we've got a perfect leader for that. We've got a guy that treats us less than livestock to do just that situation. So,
I mean, you couldn't have a better man at the helm. You really couldn't. So, Chaz, you got anything else for us?
No, I think that pretty much summarizes up that episode. What about you, Ronnie?
No, I think that's it. So I would say this one is a success. If you made it through episode 2, wow, you're that much closer to getting your free t-shirt that we've mentioned earlier. Send any feedback to thepodcastchronicles at gmail.com. That is thepodcastchronicles at gmail.com. Chad, tell the people to subscribe.
All right, this is your boy Chaz, and I just want to say subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also, as Ronnie mentioned earlier, we do have those free t-shirts. They'll be prepared and ready as soon as we get 100 listeners on this podcast. 100
listeners, and then we will keep you updated on those free t-shirts that we definitely have in stock. I'm looking at them right now. But send us some feedback, and you'll be put on the top of the wait list for the t-shirts.
Now, we do have a big wait list there, but if you send us feedback, you will be on the top.
Yeah, and I just want to make it clear, we don't have any t-shirts right now, but if we get enough subscribers, get enough listeners, we will be printing those t-shirts, and we'll take a look at the wait list and start sending those out to the guys. Once again, don't want to bombard you with this. Thepodcastchronicles at gmail.com. We read any material we get from there. Send us a picture, send us a painting. We'll describe the painting, we'll describe the picture. Tell us that you think Chaz is cute. We'll let them know there. Possibly get a little internet romance going on. Send us hate mail. We would gladly read that.
Hey, and if we get up to 200 listeners, we will put our faces on the internet.
That's exactly right. 200 listeners, you get a free t-shirt, and we won't reveal our faces at that point, but we'll be that much closer to doing that. But send us feedback, guys. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.